You know what I like about your channel is because I'll tell you, I came across your channel when you made a comment in one of my videos. I put out a Christmas video of me like making a parody of a Christmas song,
Yeah, that was
and
funny.
it was stupid. And you were like, "Oh, that was funny," and I was like, "Who's this?" I checked out your channel. I started watching, and I liked it. I mean, I like the vibe. I like you were talking about one in particular. You were talking about men's style and that one thing that men can do to make themselves look better, just appear better, improve their appearance. And you were talking about, iron your shirt or wear a suit, or you were saying, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, it was a while ago I saw it, but you mentioned watches as well. Like a nice wristwatch will add masculinity.
Oh yeah, definitely. Maybe it's where I live, okay, but people are very offended by the idea that other people might find them more attractive if they wear nicer things. It just makes them feel like they're not good enough as they are, but it's like if you're just being yourself, you would just be naked. So like let's just not pretend that your sweats, your wife beater, I don't know what guys are wearing, your sneakers, like let's not pretend like that's your identity. It's not.
If you see a guy without a wristwatch versus a guy with a nice wristwatch, what is it that catches your eye about, like, because there are wristwatches like, look at this thing, I happen to have it, I swear to God, this is not, I didn't set this up, but look at this big silly G-Shock thing, look, big plastic
It's a
thing, a lot of
sponsored ad.
fellas. I wish it'd be great to be sponsored by Casio. But I mean, I got this as a gift from some lads in the watch community last year. But man, I've never even put it on once. Look at this gargantuan monstrosity. Meanwhile, I mean, you could head into an apocalypse with this, and it will keep running. But
Put that in your emergency bag.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you've got to wear a G-Shock if there's a zombie apocalypse for sure. That's for dealing with zombies. That watch. But otherwise, it's Rolex and so on. Do you notice when you go into a bar or a restaurant or whatever? Do you notice men's watches? Do you know, or do you notice women's watches? Do you know notice those details? Because of course, we as men, that's all we have, right? We've got that in a suit, whereas women can wear earrings and bracelets and all sorts. Some men do that too, but most of us lads, this is all we got. That's all the jewelry we ever get to have. Do you notice it?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And I actually remember even before I was like more into jewelry, haute anything like that, I did notice it. And I always noticed it and it made me feel like it's kind of like comforting to see a man with a watch on, like a real watch. Even before I noticed brands and even like friends I've had in the past, female friends who honestly like did not care about any of that. They noticed it and they always found it attractive. And I do notice when men wear watches, always. I can't always tell what type of watch they're wearing. I have a lot of like Korean and Russian and Ukrainian guests that come into my cafe house, and a lot of the men wear watches, and I love to kind of like try to peek and see what they're wearing, just out of genuine
Yeah,
curiosity.
sure.
So yeah, I do notice that, and it does make a difference. But I would have to argue about something you said that men only have watches in suits. So the in between is casual style. So a lot of men, like, if you have a nice watch on, but you're dressed like a dad, in Disneyland, like it's not having the same effect. It's like a really nice sports car, and the world's like dorkiest guy gets out. It's like, okay, yeah, like
Right.
that's great. It's great, like good for him, but it's like it's not really gonna like turn a girl's head like multiple times. Now,
Right.
granted, there's always the risk of girls that specifically look for certain brands of watches because they're kind of like gold diggers and they want to be with a rich guy, all that. But
Hmm.
I would say I don't think it's quite as common as it's just talked about because it's interesting. I don't really think most women are like that. I would like to believe they're not.
The women who are looking for money, the gold digger women, what are they looking for? Are they looking for gold? Is that what looking for?
On
Shiny?
the wrist? Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I think honestly sometimes, yeah. I remember this man that was a family friend, and he was single, but he was a little bit of an older gentleman. It was like late 50s, and he had
Yeah.
decent style. But he had this watch he got from Macy's, and it was this big, giant, like flashy thing. I don't know. It was probably like really cheap too, but and it had these like gold like studs all around it. It was something, you know. And I think he
Yeah.
thought that that would attract like a hot girl. Um,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if he had any luck with it. I never followed back with that, but I don't think he probably did, honestly. But I do think, yeah, sometimes, like, for instance, like you'll see like a lot of rappers, they'll wear nice watches, completely like studded with diamonds, and it's just, I don't like that. I feel like it's kind of ruined it, but yeah.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir now, for sure. Because,
Yeah, it's sad.
this is the thing we kind of, in the watch world, we despise a little bit when people just, they take a perfect watch and then they just plaster it with diamonds. By the way, what are you wearing? I just noticed you have a watch on your wrist.
I'm wearing my Ballon Bleu de Cartier. Cartier.
It looks enormous. How small are you?
Yeah,
Look at this.
it's a men's watch, you know,
Yeah.
so I don't, I think it's 42 millimeters.
You're
I don't
wearing
know.
the men's Ballon Bleu, but I mean, it is cool.
Yeah,
It's a nice statement piece. It's
I like the rose gold too. It's just, it's very precious to me. I don't have a watch collection really. I just have this, and I have a really like cute daily wear like Maurice Lacroix icon, and I just like that. It's like it's a daily wear thing. It's not. Um, I love Cartier, so I want a tank personally, but
yeah.
I don't know what's next for me.
Well, one thing I love about your channel is sometimes, I get the feeling that you're kind of telling people to be sophisticated, to be certain manners, certain decorum. I almost feel like you're going to go on an anti woke rant at any moment. Although I know that
Uh,
that's not a popular rant, my audience would love that kind of thing, by the way, because
oh,
I feel like,
okay.
yeah, I feel like my audience are a very anti woke crowd, maybe too much sometimes. But yeah, I think people are getting frustrated where the division of men and women happen now. I've got a cohort on the iBashers, Dirk Kennedy. He's my best friend in the world, and he's gay. He lives in New York, and he hates all this shit too. He loves when men were men and they wore suits and hats, and when women were, or whatever. But I get that feeling from you on your channel that you're kind of, you want to bring people back to the beauty and the elegance of that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, you're correct. I definitely have edited out so much footage in my videos of me ranting about the wokery. I have edited it out because, you know, there's a certain point where it's just like I'm not really making any progress here. My biggest way
Yeah.
that I find that I can help though is to inspire women, and there are some men that watch my channel. It's actually funny. Some of my like number one commenters, people I, of course do not know who they are, but some of my best commenters are men, and they're like, "I appreciate your channel. I watch your channel. It inspires me. Like it makes me have hope that one day I can find, you know, a more elegant woman that's more feminine." And I really appreciate hearing that because um, I like to know that my point is being heard, and it's not like coming from me. It's not just like my own opinion. It's just it's something that worked forever, you know, elegance.
Mhm.
Like it worked forever. And it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter at all because anybody can conduct themselves with dignity. A lot of rich people, you know, they act like fools, and we all know that. So it
Mhm.
doesn't really play a part in that. And I did not grow up with money.
I was talking about this on some of my recent streams about table etiquette because I was brought up as kids not to have our elbows on the table, to hold our, fork and knife in the right hand and to use them all right and all of that kind of stuff. So recently on the channel, I'm like, I won't say lecturing people, but just letting people know, like, by the way, just in case you don't know, because a lot of people just never came across that info in their world. They've always been picking up a sandwich in their hand or using a fork with the right hand, just shoveling food. And it's not their fault. No one ever told them. Now they're grown ups. Now they own businesses. They have suits. They have Rolex and so on. And they're in social situations and they need that info. It's like, how is it really supposed to be done? How am I supposed to sit at a table? How am I supposed to have this etiquette? What should I do? Some people take it as snobbery and like, oh, high class and too fancy. But then others are like, I don't care. I don't think it's snobbery. I want to appear good in public. I want to carry myself with grace and style. I was saying to my audience that, especially table banners, it's not for you. It's for everyone else. It's to make everyone else more comfortable watching you eat.
So true. That's
Mhm.
exactly the point. Manners and etiquette in general are so that everyone can be comfortable together and not be disturbed. Like, too much PDA in public and whatnot. The reason that's frowned upon is not because people are mad that you're in love and they're jealous. It's because it makes people feel a little bit uncomfortable. So, no, I
Right,
completely agree. But honestly, the forks, using the right forks and the elbows, I think everyone knows that. But
right.
that's even these days it's almost asking for too much. What I would
Yeah.
like to see at the table, and I think this is a simple thing everyone can learn, is just a few things, like don't blow your nose at the table, don't pick your teeth with a toothpick, things like that are just, quite honestly, like you think about it, it's kind of gross. It's like a gross human thing, but like at the table, right? It's like not the time and place.
Now, I have guys, I was watching a conversation with friends of mine in the watch world recently, and they were saying things like, it's funny because I can drop 20 grand, 30 grand on a watch, no problem, kind of impulsively. But you catch me in a shirt store and I'm like checking to see which one is $9 cheaper and which one is $10 cheaper. I'll go for the cheapest possible shirt. I can't find, there's a certain imbalance. That's what I'm thinking, that these guys are jeans and t-shirt guys or whatever, or maybe they have a nice shirt, but they're not going to spend a whole lot of money on it. They're not going to go all out on all the other accessories for men, but they will get crazy on a watch. And I feel like telling these guys, listen, you've got 100 grand in watches, but you don't have a suit. You don't have a silk shirt. You don't have something you can wear on a Sunday or go out, to a nice restaurant. Trade one of those watches. Like, get rid of one of those watches and buy yourself 3 suits and buy yourself some nice shirts, because all of those watches are going to look so much nicer when you surround them with the rest of the stuff.
I feel like wearing a nice watch is definitely like I would say the staple piece of a good outfit. But if your outfit is just, wretched or like super casual and you got the socks and sandals going on, no offense, I'm just saying, um, it's kind of just comes across like, yeah, this person is a big watch nerd, probably they love watches, and that's it. Like, there's not like an internal sophistication about it. And yeah, so I feel like when you invest a little bit, and I'm not talking about like logos, I'm not talking about like Gucci, nothing, like please, I'm not. When it comes to your casual wear, wearing a nice like collared polo shirt and some trousers instead of sweatpants or instead of cargo pants, or a good pair of jeans, like dark wash jeans, that really just elevates your entire look. And then the watch is just like, it just is more cohesive. At least begin by looking at things that look and feel better, even if they're not that expensive, because a lot of people have so far to go, going from super casual like sweatpants every single day, hoodies, whatever, to a suit. That's a big jump. Like, I
Yeah.
think most of those men, of course, you need to own a suit, at least one. You need a good suit, like, of course. But I think maybe because when are they going to wear it? They don't have a lot of occasions to wear it. They're going to be wearing their normal everyday outfits every single day.
Mhm.
So I think they should
Mhm.
start with the elegant casual clothes, if that makes sense. So start like in the middle first. And yeah, I
Right.
mean, it definitely does ruin the vibe if your outfit's, like I said, a dad at Disneyland. It doesn't mean that you're not a cool guy. It doesn't mean that no one will like think you're attractive. It's not that, but like you can do better for yourself.
So many guys get the Omega watches because Bond wears them, Daniel Craig or Pierce Brosnan or Sean Connery. It's the Bond effect. And I see it. There's an Omega boutique not far from my house here. And I see men walking out with the bag in their hand and their new watch, and they feel like Bond, like somewhere in the back of their mind, they're like, din, 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 I'm fucking Bond. But then I'm like, not the pants, man, and not you got to do the whole thing. You watch Daniel Craig, and it's the suit, and it's the style, and it's the class. There's so much, and then the watch is like the cherry on the cake. It's like that accent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. It's important to take a little bit of constructive criticism sometimes.
Hmm.
And there's nothing that's going to harm you about improving yourself. It's like, don't worry if people think it's pretentious. It's not pretentious. It's something that always worked. I mean, even back in the Great Depression, people who didn't have money, the men were still wearing suits and ties and decent clothes. Sure, they only had a few pairs of clothes because they were poor, but they still, what they had, it still was something that made them look dignified. So that's something that I wanted to help with on my channel, is kind of explain these concepts in digestible portions so they can actually learn. And I've never once said like your value is less if you don't put in effort, because it's not true.
Well, of
But
course not. Of course not. And
people
sometimes
take it
people
that
just
way.
some people will take it that way. Some people will. But you know what? So many other people, and it happens with me too, so many other people take it like, you know what? I'm so glad you told me about that. I needed that guidance. Like, I have a lot of people who don't know what wine to order at the restaurant. They're like, I'm a man of sophistication. I have a beautiful car parked out front. I have a gorgeous watch on my wrist. I have a beautiful family, and my wife is sitting in front of me, and they hand me the wine menu, and I don't know what to order. Can you help me? And I will. I'll be like, no, this is what you want to get. What do you like? And so on. It's not snobbery. It's not putting anyone down. It's okay. Yeah, some people are going to take it wrong. Some people are going to go, who the hell do you think you are? And what's wrong with me that I don't do these things? No, no, no. It's just like, in case you want to know, it looks a little nicer when you don't blow your nose at the table, or when you iron your shirt, or when, et cetera, et cetera. It's just how to carry yourself better in life. Because I think it was Matthew Weiner who said, at the end of the day, it's very hard to be a person, which I thought was a very poignant thing. He actually said it when Robin Williams passed away, and he made a statement about Robin Williams, and he said, it's very difficult, it's very hard to be a person. And that's so true. We have to get up, we have to clean, we have to brush our teeth, we've got to go out and face the world. All the world's a stage, as they say, right? And you've got to go carry yourself well. And that can be more difficult for some. Some people are introverts, or they're scared of the outside world and whatever, or they're scared of being judged. But it really helps when someone's out there going, listen, all you have to do is this. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Just do this. Don't pick your teeth at the table, as you say, or whatever. Just little pointers to kind of help us along and carry ourselves as men and women.
Take it slowly, but let it be a beautiful process, a transformation for yourself. You don't have to be a totally different person. You don't need to change your personality, because your bad manners are not your personality. So having this channel, having these types of channels, even though they're different, in a way, it's like introducing a lot of people who don't have any like glance into the world of elegance and sophistication and like old fashioned style. So yeah, I feel like it's a little bit of even though sometimes we're rough around the edges, I feel like it's comes from a place of love, truly, as mushy as it might sound.
Guys, the channel is Maison de Chatillon. This is Michaela Chatillon, and she's one of my favorite little of the smaller channels, but I always enjoy your content, Michaela. Thanks for coming on. Let's have a little fun. Let's look at the Met Gala. That was last weekend, and a lot of the celebs showed up for the big event, some with more style than others, some dressed as cats and pretending to be cats, and went into the bazaar, and that made all the big news. But those people who came along with a little bit more class and style brought some nice watches. So do you feel like doing a little bit of fashion police, Michaela?
Let's do it.
So this is James McAvoy, of course, amazing actor. He's wearing a reverso from Juger Le Coultre, or JLC, as many people like to say, to abbreviate it, a chronograph reverse. So this is, of course, one of the classic watches that reverses. You can pull it around and have another face on the other side, or just sometimes it's just plain steel or precious metal to protect the watch. That was its origins. It was originally a sports watch. So this is in rose gold. What do you think of that? Is that does that
I
fit
think
his
it's
personality?
beautiful. It's not doing too much. It's exciting, but it's not like gaudy, you know?
This guy is such a smart guy. He's played all these brilliant people. There's a certain kind of class, there's a certain intelligence to the personality. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10 on this. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I think, you know, he didn't style-wise, he didn't stray too far from what looks good. He made it fun, I guess, with the tie and the fan. It's kind of hard to see since it's all blacked out, but I like the flare. The color's fun too. Yeah, I think he looks amazing. He really does. He's classy, and also the point is to be a little fashionable at these things. So I think he definitely pulled that off. I also give him a 10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10 across the board for James. We love him. Next is Michelle Yeoh. Of course, she won the Oscar for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And I remember her from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's when I first saw her on the silver screen. Now, she is wearing a Richard Mille that was made specially for her. You're looking at probably $1 million watch here. I think it's boss that she's wearing her own Richard Mille. Do you like the look?
Well, for this one, yes, because it's simple enough. My problem with a lot of the Richard Mille that I've seen is that there's a lot going on. She's cool. I mean, she was a Bond girl, so she gets a little bit of extra credit.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, because she's wearing it and it matches her outfit perfectly. I mean, I think it looks pretty good on her. It's not my favorite, but like you said, since it was made for her, that's also really cool. So
Yeah, she's super elegant. I'm gonna give her an 8 out of 10 because I'm just I don't know. I think there are more beautiful watches than a Richard Mille. I'm not a big Richard Mille fan.
I've picked up on that. Yeah, I'm not even gonna give it that much. I'll say 7 out of 10. I don't know why that's worth millions. Like I thought it was like one, almost 2 million when I was looking at that, but she pulls it off, so she gets a 7.
Next, of course, is Rami Malek with a simple Cartier tank in the original style, which is, of course, designed after those military tanks, that shape. But this one, of course, has no Romans, no Roman numerals or anything, just as minimalist as can be. What do you think?
I like it. I think it looks very vintage, and with his entire outfit, I don't really know about him personally. He's something about him. I don't know what it is. Makes me a little uncomfortable. I don't know what it is,
Yeah, he's
but
a little odd. Well, he's always in uncomfortable roles. He's
yeah.
always playing like a weirdo, right?
Right. So I mean, yeah, but honestly the outfit, that's pretty cool. That looks good. I love the vest. Um and I like the watch. I mean, it's vintage looking, it's classic looking.
Yeah.
He's small, I feel like. Isn't he a small guy? I feel like he shouldn't be wearing anything too much. It just would overpower him. So,
If you saw that watch on my wrist, it would look like a toy. Like it would be a button. Yeah, he's a little guy.
um,
A lot of Hollywood are little guys. They're little people, miniature people.
little
So
people with big heads.
yeah, there's just, and they all have the Napoleon complex. That's why they become famous. They want to be noticed. That's perfect for him. 9 out of 10. How about that?
I agree. 9 out of 10.
All right. So now we have Jack Harlow with his Rolex GMT Batman. Of course, it's not officially called the Batman. It's just the BLNR, but people call it the Batman. It's actually exactly the same watch as I have on here, but
Okay.
with a blue accents. Where's my mouse here so I can show it to you? So it's got blue on the lower side of the bezel to represent the daytime and black. This one's just all black.
Very
It's the
nice.
pure black one. What do you think?
I think it looks great. His outfit's a little bit like old lady Chanel vibes, but I don't really know who Jack Harlow is. Is he like in music or is he in films?
He's in music. I barely know
Okay.
him either. But
He looks good. He didn't do too much, and the watch looks good. But he's looking a little scruffy, but it's kind of cool with him. So
yeah, it's kind of cool to have the scruffy look with the Rolex at the end of the wrist as a
yeah,
juxtaposition.
yes, the sprezzatura. Let's see.
Sprezzatura. Yes. I'll give him a solid 8 out of 10 for that.
With his outfit, I would say 7. I like the watch, I really do, but I just can't get over the like tweed I don't know. It just reminds me of like an old lady. Like I have a bunch of classic Chanel books, and yeah, there's a lot of elderly women wearing similar things to that. But
Now, of course, this guy is a big Rolex ambassador, Roger Federer, wearing a impossible to get piece right now. Actually, it's only been just announced. They discontinued the famous Cellini, which pretty much no one was wearing except for Barack Obama. He was rocking a rose gold one. They replaced it with the 1908s, which is a kind of a harping back to the older style, the original styles of Rolex before they got all sporty and badass. So it's a more classic one, and he's got the black dial. I assume they send this guy absolutely everything in their catalog. It's just he's just the ultimate ambassador. I'm digging the simplicity.
yeah, I like the dress band. That's really, to me, that's really beautiful. And yeah, he looks very like simple, elegant, refined. You can't really get better than that. So I say 10 out of 10. That's, to me, that's beautiful.
I gotta give him 10 out of 10 too. It's just he could have worn so many pieces. To just go with simple black dial here was really, really cool. So this is Jeremy Strong from the very successful show Succession. He is wearing a Richard Mille also, the brand I'm not so crazy about, but yeah, fetch insane money. This is the 0704. I guess it's matching with a shirt, but some people say that it's been said about Richard Mille that they can look a little bit like Pez, like a candy, some children's candy container or something like that. I don't like this watch.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think it's evidence that money does not buy class. And it's reminding me of
Jesus,
Rugrats.
you're
I don't know
worse
if
than
you know what I'm
me.
talking about. Okay.
Which?
Well,
Who?
I would like to request permission to speak freely on this, if I
Yeah,
may.
go.
He
Yeah,
looks
do it.
terrible. I don't know why he's wearing that like Forever 21 like plastic necklace too. Like it's very weird. I don't like it. I don't like the whole look in that watch. I feel like that's like burning money. I don't know. It's like
That,
when you're just trying to be different so bad, you know, you don't understand the art of subtlety. And this is what I'm saying here. It's not good.
I'm giving him a 3 out of 10.
I don't know him well enough to like him, so I say 0. His stylist,
Zero.
his stylist was smoking something. That's all I have to
You're
say.
you're proper fashion police here today. Big time. Next is Simulu wearing a Vacheron Constantin 4500V. This is an overseas steel watch. Very simple, three-hander and date, but a sporty Vacheron. Vacheron, of course, are known for their beautiful classic watches, but this is their most successful of their newer watches, this style, the overseas. Looks like he's got it on a leather band. Simple, understated. What do you think?
I think it's gorgeous. I think it goes so well with everything he's wearing. Just to like zoom out and look at his entire picture, he looks perfect. He looks perfect. Like the
What's up with those
the
gloves, though?
large the okay, I guess not perfect. The large lapels, everything like the take on the classic dinner suit and giving it some edge is so fitting for the event. He looks really good. The gloves, yes, they do kind of look like a black garbage bag, yes, but
Yeah.
don't focus on that. We're gonna focus on the rest of his outfit and his timepiece. I think he looks amazing, and I love it. I would say 10 out of 10. He looks really cool. He pulled it off.
I'm gonna go 7 because of those garbage bags. Like, just take them off and let's see the watch. Just push the
That's
watch
fair.
down onto your hand, and the rest is killer, man. Next thing is Nick Jonas. He's wearing an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Chrono in 38 mil. He must be a very small boy, our
He
Nick.
is. We can see that. He
Yeah, we can
looks
see it
very
right
small.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 38 works on his wrist. That wears about the same or even larger than my 41 millimeter version of that exact same or almost exact same watch. And it's kind of hanging off him actually. So yeah, he must be a small fella. This, of course, is the Royal Oak, the classic Giralginta or Geraldginta, as people like to say, design. It is probably one of the most monumental designs in the history of watches. This one is one of the newer ones. So you have the gray dial, the Grand Tapisserie on the dial. Classy watch. You wear AP, you're a fucking badass. Simple as that. I don't have any more to say about AP. I mean, one of my favorite brands, and it's just kick-ass stuff. Don't know what to say about the tie there and so on. He's got a leather jacket.
It's too skinny. It's a skinny tie.
Yeah, looks a little. Yeah, it looks like a sleazeball or some sort of pimp from the 70s, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Besides the timepiece, his wife is a wonderful accessory on his arm. She's beautiful.
that's the
Um,
accessory, right?
Priyanka, she's beautiful. The watch looks amazing. I really feel like that's a great way to be different without doing too much. Like, I don't know, it looks very serious. It looks very like strong. Like
Yeah,
it's very like sharp, but it's like sturdy. I don't know how to explain it, but I think it's gorgeous. I'll give him 8 because I love how that watch looks. So beautiful.
I'll give him an 8 too because AP is close to my heart, and just the fact that he's rocking an AP, and yes, of course, the his date is just that's killer as well. Just that's he's looking good, man. You're looking good,
Mhm.
Nick. Now we have Nicole Kidman. Of course, she's an ambassador for Omega. She just threw a huge do in St. Petersburg for Omega. That was just amazing. And I guess they gave her one of their museum pieces, one of their 100-year-old classic pieces. This is not available to purchase. So, and it's all obviously extremely tiny. Like in the picture, you're like, oh, look at that. But then look at her wrist. It's absolutely minuscule.
Yeah, she's very small. Like well, she's tall, but she's very like skinny. Like her wrists are super small too, and the fact
Yeah.
that that looks like a little bracelet like on her. I like that it's like an old classic piece, not just like a big trendy thing. I feel like that would definitely be too much for her outfit because it's very feminine and flowy. Sometimes, a big watch can really like just not work with something like that. So I think it's pretty.
I'm giving her a 10 out of 10 just because it's Omega. I love Omega and it's a museum piece from Omega. It's like crazy level.
10 out of 10 too. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's very feminine on her. It really works with her whole style. So beautiful.
And lastly, we have Stormzy wearing a Patek Nautilus. Of course, this is a famous design by Gerald Genta or Gerald Ginta, one of the most sought after watches in the world. This particular one it looks like baguette diamonds all around the bezel, which isn't my thing. But this is, yeah, it's a monumental watch.
I don't like that it's like iced out. I don't like that. Patek Philippe, from what I know, I think of the commercials of the fathers passing down their watch to their sons. I think of like timeless elegance. And this is a little bit, I don't know, it's too blingy for me. I mean, he looks good. I don't know what it is, but I never like royal blue on clothing. I don't know why. Yeah, I would say like 5 out of 10.
Wow.
Sorry. Sorry.
Ooh, you're tough. You're a
I
tough
still love him,
crowd.
but I just nothing personal. I just don't like the blingy.
I'm going to give him more. I'm going to give him more. I'll tell you why. I see a lot of guys like this wearing way more blingy. Like there's iced out. There's a phrase that's even worse than iced out. It's called bust down. And that's when that shit is just covered in diamonds. And I
I was
see it
wondering
all
what
the
that
time.
meant.
Bust down is
I've heard
just
people use it.
completely obliterated with
Okay.
diamonds. And underneath somewhere, there's a beautiful watch, but no one will ever see it again. This is factory. So Patek actually made this watch the way it is. So it's just the right amount of diamonds. I would not be into it if I was offered this one versus one without the diamonds, even though that's, it's going to be cheaper. I would take the one without the diamonds. But he could have been worse. It could have been just emeralds and
Yeah,
diamonds
it could
all
have.
over the place. He could have, yeah. He kind of held back. He kind of held back. So I'm going to give him kudos for that. I'm going to give him an
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
It's not as iced out or whatever as it could be. It's not as crazy as it could be.
Yeah.
But that's not enough for me to just change my opinion just because it could be worse.
Okay.
That
Shit,
sounded
you're
so
tough. You're
that
way
sounded
worse than
so
me.
bratty. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Guys, Maison de Chatillon is Michaela's channel. If you want to just hear about style, confidence, mentality, men's style, women's style, how to treat other people, how to carry yourself, general decorum, being a modern woman in Seattle, that's the place to go. And as you heard, she has strong opinions about watches and style. Michaela, it's been great chatting to you. It's been a lot
You
of
as
fun.
well. Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun. Good
I need to have
opportunity.
you back on at some point, maybe on the eye bashers, where we can have you and Dirk can go crazy. Yeah,
We can go crazy.
style,
Are you sure?
fashion. Oh, you can. I'll sit back and just smoke a cigar and watch the two of you just fillet people about their style and their shitty style and all of that kind of stuff. You should have really done this little Met Gala thing with him, not with
Oh,
me, because you
okay.
would have had a lot more fun with it. Because he would have been like, "That shit, he looks terrible."